Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video on Raid Shadow Legends. Today we'll be looking at some new news that came out yesterday, or a new image that came out yesterday, and that's this Raid Shadow Legends roadmap. I'm going to be having my campaign runs for the champion training event running in the background, but we'll be taking a look at and speculating what all of these new things could possibly be if it's not already pretty obvious. But the first image that we have here is the new artifacts. It says new artifacts, and it shows some armor and some 6 stars above it. Now this could mean that we're getting new artifacts, but it most likely means that this was the patch 1.8 for the 6-star and legendary artifacts that we already got. It's most likely that there is a possibility that because this is coming out yesterday, which is a couple weeks after the patch was already here, that all of this stuff would be new, and this would actually mean that we're getting new artifacts. But I highly doubt that that is the what's going on here. The second image here is a new faction, which shows the dwarf banner flag that we already see in the game. In patch 1.8, before patch 1.8, there were 4 flags at the bottom of the index that were just black, and it appeared that they'd be giving us new factions, or at least their plan was to do that. And now with patch 1.8, we got a flag filled in, and it says dwarves, and right now there's a lock on it, but we know that dwarves are coming. And I actually found a Reddit post of someone posting all 4 new factions. I'd have to take a look at it again to make sure if that was right or not, but it seems like we'll be getting dwarves shortly after we got these new 6-star artifacts, and that'll be the next major thing on this roadmap. The third image is a desktop version of the game, and I would greatly appreciate that. A lot of people, including me, use their desktop or computer to play this game on an emulator currently, and it would be nice to have a better working version of the game on a computer to play on. It would be interesting to note if they did any optimization for a desktop version, or if it would just be like 100% port from an Android phone or a iOS version of the game, basically. But we'll just have to wait and see what it's like. But either way, I'll probably be downloading it and using it when it comes out. The next image on this is something that we've known for a very long time, just because it's been in the game as coming soon, and that's Faction Wars. We don't know a whole lot about it, and I was always assuming that it would be a PvP mode where you could only use certain factions, like high elves versus high elves, or dark elves versus dark elves and whatnot, and you would be able to use either have a mode where you can use each faction and see how far you can get with that certain faction, or maybe it's just a certain faction every week or so, and that you just have to use that faction and see how well you can do. But either way, whatever this ends up being, whether it's a PvP mode or a PvE mode, which would be, I guess, somewhat similar, but against a computer enemy rather than another player's champions. Either way, it seems pretty obvious that you would have to be using a specific faction for whatever fight you're going to be doing, and so you'll have to be leveling up and gearing up more champions than what we probably currently have, so that you have good factions or good teams for every faction. The next image is something that says glyphs, and we don't know hardly anything about this. I haven't heard anything about it before this, but my best guess is that we'd be getting possibly interchangeable items, which they would call glyphs, and use them on your gear, or maybe it's just an extra accessory slot type thing that would power us up. I imagine it would be usable enhancements for gear, and that would create extra customization and possibly give us extra, not just extra stats, but extra abilities as well, which would be pretty cool. But that's a couple updates down the road, and hopefully it comes sooner rather than later, because that would be pretty cool to have in the game. The next image is that of a platinum tier, and right off the bat it sounds like it would just be an extra PvP tier, like bronze, silver, gold, then platinum. And I imagine that it would just add a couple extra points. It would increase the amount of or decrease the amount of players that you would see, but it would make it easier for people to get into gold, say, that because the super geared out players, or the whales and stuff, would be in the platinum tier. There is a possibility that they would change the way PvP was, and hopefully they end up doing some sort of system where there's a weekly ranking system, and people in like top 1 get certain rewards, top 10, top 50, but I just don't think that that's what this is, unless they do a full rework of what their PvP system currently is. This next one is that of a battle pass, and I believe their monthly thing that you can buy currently in the game is called Battle Pass, and it looks like it's a ticket with an S1, possibly a Season 1, so maybe they're reworking that system or creating a new system that most likely you could pay money for. But we'll just have to see exactly what that does, because if they just do a giant update for something that you have to pay for, there's probably not going to be a lot of people that are too happy about that, unless there's also some free-to-play aspect to it that possibly paying for does better stuff. I don't know. Next we have this void dungeon, and it kind of looks like a tower, and we have seen in the dungeons tab that there's this tower there for quite a while, and hopefully that's what this is. And I'm really hoping for like a endless wave type thing, or a tower that you have to climb in order to get certain rewards, and hopefully that it would be reoccurring. I've played some other games where it's not reoccurring, it just, you get as high as you can, and then they'll add a couple extra floors, or maybe you'll just get stronger and you can get higher up on the tower and get better rewards. But assuming the void dungeon is what they call it, is that tower, it'll be a great big welcome update to the game whenever we end up getting that. This next one is the tag team arena, and it looks like there's 3 characters versus 3 characters, but I'm not entirely convinced that's what that's going for. There's a possibility that it would be maybe one of your champions and one of 2 other players' champions versus a group of 3 from another, I don't know, say friends or clan, and then you team up to fight them. That would be pretty interesting. Tag team kind of makes me think that you could possibly have extra champions. It would just be your set of champions, and you would have extra champions in reserve, and you can tag them out whenever you want. That makes it seem a little bit harsher, because it's already hard enough to get champions geared up and leveled up, and if you have to have extra champions or extra teams of champions that you can tag out, it would be a lot of work in order to do so. So I kind of hope that it is a team up with other players versus a team of other 3 other players on the enemy team as well, because that would be a really cool addition to the game. This next one is another new faction, and in my mind, this kind of looked like a dragon's head. Yeah, so I'm looking at screenshots somebody posted of other faction flags that would be coming out in the game, hopefully. They don't really say anything. They just post pictures of faction flags, one of them being dwarves, and it ended up being right. But this was a month ago, so I don't know where these images came from. But apparently the names that he's calling these factions are the Covenant of Magi, Wood Elves, and Rogues. The faction flags do look legit and pretty cool, but none of them have the same outline as this, what appears to be a dragon's head in my mind. And so it's obviously a mystery of what this faction could be, but I would think it'd be cool to have some dragon characters, but none of them match up with what this guy has posted as other factions, so we'll just have to see exactly what comes of this. This second to last image is that of a new clan boss, and it looks like it's a Hydra of some sort. It's been talked about that we'd be getting an update to the clan boss situation and possibly getting higher difficulties, because there's already clans that are clearing every clan boss every day, and it's just not as challenging to them. So, but that is not what this update is referring to. This is an entirely new clan boss situation, and possibly getting new rewards or new set of gear. Maybe the one that we currently have gives the Cruel and Immortal set. Maybe this will give 2 new sets that have a new ability along with them. And this last image says Divine Artifacts, and it looks like a fancy helmet with an anvil on it. And if you ignore the name Divine Artifacts, that would make me believe that we are getting some sort of upgrade system, or maybe it's just a new tier of artifacts like we currently have rare, epic, and legendary artifacts. Maybe this would be a higher level up of artifacts. But because it says Divine Artifacts, and we already have a divine set, like divine offense, divine speed, and all that stuff, it makes me want to think that they're just coming out with new divine sets. Like maybe there's divine lifesteal gear. Maybe they're coming out with 4 set gears of divine sets. And either way, whatever it ends up actually being, hopefully it's a lot easier to get than the current divine artifacts, because we get 1 or 2, or I guess probably 2 or 3 artifacts a week from PvP, and that's really the only way you can get them. And in my mind, I don't really have any of my champions geared up with divine artifacts, just because I haven't gotten any real good divine artifacts yet. And so hopefully they make a much easier way to get these. That way you can actually get better versions of the artifacts. I know it's all RNG, but you have a better chance at getting better artifacts if you can actually have some way to farm them. Or, as this image shows, an anvil, it makes it seem like it might be some sort of gradual upgrade to artifacts as well. But we'll just have to wait and see exactly what they do. But it is really cool to see that they're giving us this Raid Shadow Legends roadmap of new updates that come probably very slowly. But we'll just have to see, because this is the first we've heard of any of this stuff, and we have no idea on timeline what it'll be like before we get these things. But I just wanted to go over that with you real fast. Well, not real fast, but I wanted to go over that with you today, and hopefully this makes me very excited for the game, and hopefully makes you excited too, that we know what's coming in the future. That'll be it for this video. I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video.